Hello, my loves. So I know this is kind of out of my normal format. It's not in either one of my normal filming spaces. But as I was sitting here reflecting today, reflecting over the past, almost month now, I asked Spirit if there was a message for the collective. And I immediately felt drawn to the Sacred Destiny Oracle deck. And the cards just flowed out. And these are the cards that are within our conscious awareness. But what we're not understanding is this call for forgiveness. So there has been this overpowering energy in my life, calling for purification, calling for revelation. And it's been a lot of perspective shifts, awareness coming through, a lot of rest, a lot of change, and changing patterns, changing behaviors. When these cards fell, the first thing that came through with purity is understanding the purity of who you are on a physical level, on a spiritual level, on an emotional level, on a mental level, understanding that you may have two different sides of yourself. You may have a multitude of different pieces and parts of who you are, and at times carrying around this understanding of being so many things, loving so many things, being passionate about so many things, being drawn to so many things can make you feel as though you're not being true to yourself because you're not following one specific path, one specific guide. And the very first message that came through with this purity card is understanding the purity of being all that you are within yourself, of seeing two different ways of anything, of going two different paths at the same time, knowing somehow within your heart that those paths are not actually separate, they're not actually different, they're intricately intertwined because they are both a part of you and your destiny. The next card that came out was a focus card, and with this transition, there's this message of change. This comes back to that revelation thing. It's about changing what you focus on. So we could focus on the mountain in the background, feeling as though we have something to climb, something to conquer. We could focus on the color of the clouds in the sky, wondering whether this is sunrise or sunset, whether the darkness is settling in. We could focus on the snow falling from the sky. We could focus on the snow leopard. What is it that you're focusing on? Are you focusing on the entirety of the picture? Or are you focusing on one small aspect of it and allowing that small aspect to dictate the progress and the path and the way that you believe in yourself? What if you focused on the acceptance of all of what you are? What if you focused on not defining, but being? What if you focused on acceptance of your own shortcomings as well as others' shortcomings, knowing that we're all human and we're all doing the best that we can? And I love that the final card was going forward, because this card in and of itself is such a beautiful, beautiful message. It's about understanding that we hold the power within us to take that next step, to move on, to transition, we talk a lot about the law of attraction, about shedding in order to move to the next stage. We talk about portals and gateways and tower moments and transformations. And a lot of that, while it is incredibly important, the other aspect is literally just taking that step forward. Because if we focus so much on the transition stage and the in-between and the liminal, being in the unknown, being in the void space, we're focusing on being there, but we're not seeing that we are collaborating with the universe. We're co-creating with the universe. And so if we come to the universe and we say, okay, I am ready to take the next step, a lot of the time the universe is sitting there waiting for us to make that decision. We stay within this space of in between because we feel like we're getting ready. We need a sign, we need a symbol or a message. But what if the message is simply that to move forward, all you have to do is take the first step? And when I look at this going forward card, I'm brought back to my childhood immediately because I grew up in a very small town. And the road, the path on here, as you can see, it's not a straight highway. It's not paved. It's not modern. It's an old path. Maybe that means something to someone, that you've been sitting there wondering when the new path is opening, and you don't realize that the new path really is the same path you've been on. There just was a pause time frame in which you needed to clear and cleanse and come to that revelation moment. And now that you're in that revelation moment, now it's time for you to take that step forward. If you knew today that that next step was bringing you into victory, bringing you into the light that you have been waiting for or searching for or fighting for, if you knew that all you had to do was just take the step, would you take it? Could you take it? And how would you feel knowing that you could have taken that step a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago? What if that step is simply to say, I understand that a lot of the time on my journey I've been lost. I haven't seen the beauty and the purity in who I am. I haven't seen the blessing in these restful moments out of fear of loss, fear of stagnation, fear of failure, fear of success. There's so many fears coming in, but can you find forgiveness within your heart for yourself? You know, a lot of us have an easy time giving forgiveness to others. We may not allow that person back in. We may not continue a path that involves that person, but it does not mean that we don't forgive them. It means that we understand that people are fallible. We're all fallible. And it's one of the beauties in life is that we get to make mistakes and get messy and then pick ourselves back up and learn from it and move forward. If you can give forgiveness to someone, to anyone, to everyone, can you forgive yourself? It's that self-forgiveness, that self-compassion and empathy, that beautiful blessing and gift that you give to others, that you are able and meant to give to yourself, because you don't need to keep holding yourself to a higher standard than what you hold the rest of the world to. Let yourself be human. Let yourself explore and experiment and take chances, take risks, make mistakes, fall down, get back up, dust yourself off and do it again and say, I am better off for this experience. I am better off for the lessons I have learned, and I am stronger, more resilient, and I am wiser, kinder, gentler, more empathetic, more compassionate because of all that I've been through. So I forgive myself for those moments in which I didn't know better, but I do now. And then you, again, take a step on that path. What I just heard was stop looking for a set path. Stop looking for a paved road. Stop looking to what everybody else has done, because they are not you, and you are meant to do it in your way, how you need, how you want. It's one of your gifts. It's one of your blessings. This path that you're on, it's one of your gifts. Awakening within you is this understanding that you're the pioneer, forging the trail. There may be others who follow after you, but it doesn't mean that you have to be looking to others. It doesn't mean that that they're going to mock you or mimic you, or that you have to hold on to secrets along the journey. It doesn't mean that you need to be fearful of this. Everyone doing something different from the norm feels that way. And I'm here to tell you that I have felt that way so much lately, writing these retrograde guidebooks, knowing that I really haven't seen anything out there similar to these. And granted, I haven't gone through everything out in the world, but something about it felt different, felt new, felt completely my own. And it was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying to put myself out there and to take that chance and to take that risk and to really do this for myself and to share it with the world afterwards. So much raw, real truth about my gifts and the way that I work with the stars are in those books, and it was very, very frightening. And I mulled over the idea of doing them for so long, until I had felt like I backed myself into a corner time management wise, because now the planets were about to start going retrograde, and I had been talking about doing these books for months, and I could have been working on them, giving myself those steps forward, and I didn't. And I felt exhausted. By the time I finished Neptune, I felt exhausted, and I wasn't sure whether I was going to keep going. I wasn't sure how many I was going to be able to do. And honestly, I haven't decided if I'm going to do both Uranus and Mars, and I definitely am not going to do Jupiter. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that I have failed. It means that I have recognized a part in my journey where I needed to learn a lesson. And I've learned that the only clock that I'm up against is my own. The only clock that you're up against is your own. The only thing that takes away your focus from seeing the bigger picture for your life and understanding that each one of the moments has been bringing you right back to all the different pieces that are part of who you are, so that you can feel that true purity within your very own essence, your very own soul of being all that you are, and taking all of that and moving forward. The only thing holding you back, or looking at the clock, or wondering when or why or what if, it's just you. And you weren't wrong for doing it. You just needed to learn. And the spirit and the universe and your guides, and I could keep going down the list of angels, archangels, ancestors, ascended masters, deities, blah, 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 blah. You know, we have so many So many different titles of the same loving energy that is there around us all the time trying to help us. They're all here, and they want you to know it's okay to take that step forward and to go and forge your path like the pioneer and the inventor and the mystic and the seer and the diviner and the artist and the pragmatist that you are. All those pieces that make you who you are, they are all meant to be a part of who you are. Not one piece is more important than the other. Even if you have, like me, a sweet tooth, that's not less important than eating healthy. It just means that you need to learn how to manage it, so to speak. And forgive yourself when you beat yourself up because you feel like you should have done this or done that, or you could have done this better or done that better. Just say, maybe I could have, maybe I couldn't have, but I did the best that I could in the time that I was living, and I forgive myself. And know that the universe and spirit are always there with love, not condemnation, no judgment, just love. I encourage you all to take that next step and move forward. I'm going to say thank you so much to Spirit and the guides and everyone in the spirit realm who has come through today, who has brushed this energy in this area and my presence in order for the messages that they wanted for their people to hear to come through me. I want to say thank you so much to you, viewer, for being here, but for continuing to move forward, even when it feels like the hardest steps that you're going to take, because you are forging a path that will change the world. And I pray that you know that. If this resonated, please hit that like button, share it out with somebody that you know could be helped with this message. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I am finishing up with Chiron's retrograde guidebook. I just have the cover art to finish designing and the uploading and everything, and it should be available soon. I will update you guys probably via a short when it is up and processing or when it has been approved through Amazon. And in the meantime, my Saturn, Pluto, and Neptune retrograde guidebooks are available, and it is so important for us all to understand how the planets move in our lives, and that was something that I learned even more prominently as I worked through Chiron's retrograde guidebook. So I want to say thank you one more time for being here. You guys can check out all the links down in the description box, and I will see you guys all again next time. Bye.